Because when it comes to business smarts, when it comes to understanding the consumer, I think Indian MSMEs are second to none in the world.
Interesting. So Lloyd, we'll move to the next question, which is current marketing dynamics. Now, considering the dynamic nature of marketing today, things are changing so fast, and specifically as you picked up, the technology is one of the contributor and pusher for that. What strategy or tools are currently yielding good results for small to medium segment businesses in both when they are working in B2B or in B2C context? This is episode number 40 of MSME Talk, MSME Day Special, Insights by Industry Leaders. Welcome to a special edition of MSME Talk, the podcast that brings you relevant and valuable industry insights, informative topics, value-added content, and showcases of relevant product and services brands for MSMEs and startups. Hi, I'm your host Tripti. Today we celebrate MSME Day, a day dedicated to recognize the critical role played in global economy by MSMEs, SMEs, SMBs, or so-called as small businesses. Before we go ahead, here is a reminder to subscribe to our newsletter. The link for the same is given in the description. As a subscriber, you will get the highlights of today's special episode of MSME Day via MSME Talk newsletter. So in this special episode of today, we have gathered a panel of distinguished industry experts to share valuable data and insights gathered from their businesses' own platforms and clients. They will provide a deep dive into the current trends, emerging opportunities, and the challenges being faced by MSMEs today, and some relevant suggestions. So first, in the panel we have today Sandip Chhettri, CEO of TradeIndia.com, India's one of the largest online B2B marketplace. Sandip will share insights on the top demand and supply segments, emerging sectors, surprising geographical trends, and common challenges faced by MSME clients. Next in line, we have Ritu Singh, Economist and Research Head for MSMEs at Ugro Capital, the leading DataTech Lending platform for small businesses in India. Ritu will discuss loan demand and disbursements, trends, sectors with higher rejection rates, her wish list for MSMEs to improve their operations, and surprising geographical performance based on Ugro Capital's portfolio. Joining us is an industry expert, Lloyd Mathias, a business strategist and investor with extensive experience in marketing for HP Asia, Motorola, and PepsiCo. Lloyd will share his observation on MSMEs in India compared to other countries, effective marketing strategies in today's dynamic environment, and traditional marketing tools that still yield results. We also have Hardika Shah, CEO of Kinara Capital, a fintech NBFC providing fast and flexible collateral-free business loans in India. Hardika will provide insights into top demand and supply sectors or reasons leading to higher rejection rates, and surprising geographical trends in their portfolio. Another interesting expert today, Sumedh Battewar, co-founder and chief business officer of EMotorad, a leading electric vehicle company, will discuss the demand trends from Tier 2 cities, domestic and export opportunities for MSMEs in the EV sector, and the challenges faced while expanding their businesses. Finally, we have Partha Das, Managing Director of New Businesses and Growth at Moglix, an e-commerce company in industrial supplies and a unicorn from India. Partha will provide insights into the top product categories in different markets, effective market channels worked for Moglix, and surprising trends in customer behavior. So sit back, relax, and join us as we dive into the world of MSMEs with our esteemed guest panel. Trade India is India's largest online B2B marketplace. we have Sandip Chhettri, CEO of TradeIndia.com, with us for MSME Day episode to share industry insights. A very warm welcome, Sandeep, on MSME Talk.
Thanks, Ritu. Thanks for the invite. Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure and opportunity to be here again.
Yes, thank you so much. So, Sandeep, we are looking forward for some industry insights from you because we understand you are a very big platform who are dealing day in, day out with MSMEs, and you have more than 1 crore of MSMEs on your platform. So, please tell us which are the three topmost segments on your platform from the demand perspective, which are reaching out to more, and three segments where the supplier, people who are coming and want and supplying it.
So, Triti, some interesting data points which I'll be sharing you from the industry perspective. Okay. From the industry, in our kind of platform, industrial supplies, machinery, food products, and apparel and fashion, electronics, electrical supplies, and automobiles. These are top categories or industry, I would like to say. Specifically in industry, these are all sub industries which is there. I'll give you some insight, very interesting insight which we have seen in last 1 year. One is primarily from the apparel and fashion categories, t-shirts. Okay, the t-shirts demand has increased by almost 68%. Okay, over the years. And
Wow.
specifically, why is t-shirts is the trending. These days, even when we go to offices, we wear t-shirts, right? That has been the new trend. Gen Zs and the world, you have wearing t-shirts, and that's where the demand is coming in which I can see. Second is customization, which is coming in. A lot of people want more personalized kind of t-shirts these days, and this is new trend which is happening in the young generation, right? So demand t-shirts have really increased, and this is a very interesting data which I'm sharing with you. And if you see the t-shirt market itself by in 2024, where the market size is around 7.14 billion USD, and is trending to grow at around 5% by 2028. So this shows that this industry is growing, and this is what the demand which we can see has increased in our platform also. Second, from the food products specifically, when I say food products, edible oils, okay, and then edibles also one specific product, right? Mustard oil. And why I'm saying this, there's some interesting trend. In mustard oil, we have seen a growth of almost 76% year in year. Okay, and that is where I see that why mustard oil. These days people have become more towards good health, right? And people feel that mustard oil is something which has got a lot of benefits, healthy, towards the health. So that's what I see, that mustard oil demand increasing is related to the health conscious which we have become in last 2 years. Okay, yeah, and demand is primarily coming from India, Thailand, and China. But India is something which we see a great increase in terms of the demand. Third, very interesting again, cashew nuts. Why cashew nuts again? Okay, because we eat snacks. Now again we have been choosy about what snacks we are taking, right? Yeah, and cashew nuts has become our trending snacks these days. And also we use cashew nuts in a lot of food products and when we cook food. So that is where we see the increase in demand, and you will be surprised to know the demanding that is 700% year in year. Okay, it's a huge demand, and the trend, and that I wanted to relate, the trend with what is our habit today, right? So this has become a new snack, and that's what the demand has increased, and specifically this demand has increased from Asia and African countries primarily. So there are some three trending categories which I see, which the demand has increased in last 1 year. From the supply side, there are a lot of innovations which is happening. Okay, and there are a lot of innovations specifically from different categories. So I'll give you example. One category where supply has started increasing is packaging. Okay, and in packaging also, packaging food grade products, right? A lot of, because plastic is being banned in a lot of states. Okay, so a lot of innovations which is happening there. Okay, and the demand is also there, but supply also, people want to supply these products. Okay, this is one very trending category which we can see. Okay, second is from the tools perspective. A lot of machine tools. Tools. There are a lot of tools which is there, which has started. Because in tools also a lot of automation is happening today. A lot of things has changed there. Okay, in that industry. So because a lot of digital IoT devices, a lot of devices which can be monitored, the productivity can increase. So those products has come in, which has changed the way this industry is working today. Okay, so that demand, I mean, the supply side also they have started, increasing the supply. Third is specifically from the organic products. Okay, I can see a lot of organic products which has come in today, which was not there previously. Okay, so you talk about any products, whether it's vegetable, whether it's pulses, all these products, whether organic has coming. Third, what very interesting, but people will, I mean, which we have seen is livestock. Okay, when I say livestock,
Okay.
this is also very interesting for us. Okay, people are looking for pets like dogs, different type of dogs. They want so people have started this separate. People have started keeping pets in their house, right? So
Okay.
this demand has increased, and the supply side also has increased. People are taking this as a new business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is they're coming to trade India for this. This is interesting.
Yeah, they're coming to trading that. So livestock, because livestock has become a very good category, in our platform. Okay, and the supply has increased there. Okay, so I mean that's an interesting trend which I'm trying to share with you. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So this is on the supply side. So Sandeep, any upcoming emerging sector which you're witnessing on Trade India?
To start with, first, is automobile. Okay, so electric vehicles, which is already there, which is taking a trend. So electric vehicles and their products. But when it comes to electric vehicles, specifically two-wheelers and three-wheelers, okay, this is which I can see a lot. It's trending.
You're saying these are trending on Trade
Yeah,
India.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh,
Trading or
very
trading. Yeah.
interesting.
Okay. Yeah, and that is where, and not only two wheelers, electric two wheelers, but their parts as well, whether it's battery and different parts as well. Okay, so that is trending. Second is because the consumption of electricity is happening a lot today, right? It's directly related with the way we are consuming electricity today. So solar products is which I see, the upcoming, industry, and also trending on Trade India. Okay,
Okay.
whether it's a lot of different products in solar, so solar lights, so on and so forth. Okay. Third, of course, LED has grown a lot, but LED is also which I can see. When I say LED, not only LED lights and all, but LED TV. Okay, I
Okay.
mean, suddenly we see a lot of growth of traffic plus inquiries on our platform, nearly 176%
Okay.
increase.
Oh,
Okay. So, and we used to think that mobile is, people after using mobile, people will not use TV, but I mean, we see a reverse these days, and because of the new technologies like OLED and, those coming in, so people want to see high quality images these days. Okay. People might not want to go to movies, but maybe because of the OTT and all, they would like to see in their television only, right? Okay. So I
okay.
see this been trending again. Okay. One more interesting category which is trending is submersible pumps. Very surprising. Okay. 110% increase. Why submersible pumps? A lot of things which is happening in, so people want clean water supply, rapid urbanization which is happening, lot of, real estate work is happening today.
Maybe water depth is going down and that's the people need more water.
Yeah,
Population is
yeah,
increasing. Yes.
absolutely. That urbanization which is happening, right? Because of the urbanization. So submersible pump is like, witnessing a growth of almost 100%. And that is also trending again. Okay. Of course, because of the heat wave which is there today in last 3 months, if you say everybody is struggling, all the states are struggling in India. What is trending is again the same, the solar, coolers, solar inverter. So this category is trending, and I see a future here also, and these are the emerging sectors which I see, witnessing a growth. Yeah,
And along with your livestock sector, which you mentioned,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's very
Livestock. Yeah,
interesting. I didn't couldn't even think, oh, that could be some a play. Trade India would be doing providing that also. So very interesting. So Sandeep, let's move to the next question. Is there any geographical area, state or city on your, people come and register from various places in India and abroad on your platform, which has surprised you by their maybe kind of products, or maybe the quantity or quantum of suppliers have increased or demand have increased?
specifically, in last 2 3 years, there are a lot of trains which we see from smaller cities. smaller cities growing rapidly from all. And when I talk about India per se, okay, I'll give you surprising if you look at Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so when it comes to Uttar Pradesh, we think of cities like maybe Ghaziabad or Faridabad, which is near to Delhi. All the industrial hubs are there. But for us, Lucknow is the top city. Which we have a lot of sellers, lot of buyers coming in from there. Okay, or
Oh,
Kanpur or Muradabad. Okay. Uh,
interesting.
Similarly, if you go to Haryana, you will find Ambala, Panipat, and all those cities coming in. A lot of people coming from those cities, sellers coming from those cities, even buyers from those cities. But one state which is very interesting, which has shown tremendous growth in our platform, is Jharkhand. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. And I mean, Jharkhand coming in, and that shows the kind of digitization growth which is happening in India. Okay, and over a month, we receive approximately 8.5 lakh requirements from Jharkhand itself. Okay, it's huge. Yeah. So this is something very surprising, which is with the kind of growth which this state has shown in our platform. But would like to mention some more cities specifically, which has a lot of growth in India, and specifically on our platform is Guwahati, Bhubaneswar. These cities, which and even Patna per se, these are the cities has is making a lot of impact, and the adoption is very high, from the B2B perspective as well these days. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. And it also shows that distribution and supply chain also has improved a lot so that the products can reach so far away places. And maybe the places
Absolutely.
at one point of time were not so-called safe for the delivery are trending, as a city. Good, interesting insights.
In fact, digital has made it borderless also, no?
Yes.
A person sitting in a small city can have a global aspiration, right? Yeah. But
Absolutely.
what you need is good manufacturing setup and right logistic and technology, and good quality product. That's it. And if I'm sitting at a smaller city, you can do exports as well. You don't have to be in
Yes.
Tier 1 cities these days. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Sandeep, let's move to the next question which we have. What are the common challenges you are hearing from your clients?
Yeah. I think interesting also, an answer will be almost similar, over the years, right? Of course, government have taken a lot of initiatives and policy. You can see last 5 years or so, a lot of changes there from the MSME perspective. Okay, but still the problem lies there. That there are four critical problems which I see is access to finance, right? Why I say access to finance, despite government taking a lot of initiatives here, because these MSMEs are still not structured. Okay, they are not ready to, they're not able to meet the criteria which government has, and that gap is all not helping them altogether. And when they go to banks or other NBFCs and so on and so forth, the interest charge is very very high. Okay, so to get the capital, working capital to run their business or grow their business is still difficult today. Okay, that's one. Second is the taxation issues. Okay, because I was talking to some of the SMBs and they said, "Hey, Sandeep, we got notice from the GST that this is the penalty you have to pay." They had no idea of what went wrong. Okay,
Hmm.
so I mean that is the issue, and they got a huge penalty. And
Yeah, these are very pertinent issues and common issues at a micro level. Yes.
yeah, and they had no idea what went wrong during the GST filing. Okay, yeah. And if these complexes can be reduced, and if when they go to the GST also and they ask this question, they give them some suggestions, but they should know what is the real problem, right? And they say, hey, this is not my fault altogether. Okay, so I think those, if that complexes can be handled and it may be simplified,
So it can be
yeah,
simplified, then it can be much better.
much better. And also the categories, right? Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And that's the government to listen to us.
Yeah, and also different category has different GST amount, 5%, 10%, 15%, and
Hmm.
18%,
Yes.
28%. If it can be simplified, and that's one way with government should look at from the taxation perspective. Okay. Third, the policy creation and implementation. They create a policy, but the implementation is not that the way it should be. I'll give you again example here. In MSc was had spoken to me. He says, Sandeep, government is talking about collateral free loan. Okay, And I went to a bank, a government bank, and said, hey, as per this policy, I should get. And the bank said, no, you have to come with a collateral. Okay, so then what is the meaning of this collateral-free loan? Okay, so you get my point. Here is there is a policy. The implementation might not be the way it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, or there is a gap between
There's a
the
gap
policy being introduced
and
and implementation and the execution perspective. Maybe the last mile, the person who is giving it, might not have the whole idea about how this loan should be processed. Okay, so that gap from the policy creation and the implementation should be reduced. And finally, come back to the same is the awareness here. Lot of policies which are there, and you go and ask any SME, tell me which are the policies which is there, which you know about and which will benefit you. I'm sure they'll not be able to tell one or two. Yeah.
not an easy thing. State-wise is different, center-wise it is different.
Yeah. But Tripti, I agree with you, and also I think it will be a responsibility of a platform like you and us also. Okay, I
Yes,
also believe the other way
absolutely.
around. Okay, yeah, how we can take this initiative of the government and the policies of the government and go to these MSMEs and educate them, which government is taking, and reach out to more and more SMEs through your podcast and through our platform together, and maybe that is how we can give back to the government as well. From the support perspective.
We keep on, publishing blogs on the relevant policies on our website. We take care of that part. So thanks a lot, Sandeep, for sharing the insights from Trade India platform. Loved very interesting pointers and insights you shared. See you again. Thanks a lot, and a very happy MSME Day to you. Wish you all the best in supporting MSMEs of India and neighboring countries.
Let's take a quick break.
MSMEs and startups are looking for various kinds of support and upgrade. Are you a product service provider, expert, advisor, consultant, mentor for MSMEs and startups? Do reach out to MSME Talk to list your business. Check the link in the description.
Thanks, Tripti, and also take this opportunity to wish all the MSME in India, and globally happy National MSME Day, and really privileged that because of the MSMEs, we Trade India as a platform have become stronger over the period of time, and I really thank you, all these MSMEs on this day. Yeah, thank you very much.
Ugro Capital is a leading DataTech lending platform for the small businesses in India. We have Ritu Singh, Economist and Head of Research for MSMEs at Ugro Capital. So today, Ritu is going to share industry insights on the occasion of MSME Day. So very warm welcome, Ritu, on MSME Talk.
Yeah, thank you, Tripti.
Thanks, Ritu, for joining. So, Ritu, please share with us a couple of ground level insights which you are experiencing and noting down at the Ugro level. So my first question to you is, what are the 3 topmost segments or sectors on your platform from the loan demand perspective? And what are the 3 where loan disbursements are happening from the supply perspective?
Tripti, that's a very interesting question. Though we are dealing with the 9 sectors, we disperse loans to the 9 sectors that are mainly light engineering, food processing, hospitality, education, health center, micro, auto components, and others. So if top 3 sectors I have to choose from these out of 9, then these are the light engineering and your textiles and the food processing. So these all sectors, we have seen a huge supply demand also from the customers, and from our side also, we are able to serve most of the customer who belongs to these sectors. So in the light engineering sector, if you talk, then the iron, steel and other metal works, they are more dominant sub-industry among this light industry. And its dominance in India is across India, but major state which is Maharashtra, being followed by the Gujarat. And if we speak about the food processing, then the major component which contributors for this food processing are the animal, vegetable oil, waxes, edible preparation, fruits, nuts, and cereals. And cash proportion is though highest in this sector if we compare to the other sectors. And if in India footprint, if we talk about, then the major states of where we have seen the surge in this sector demand is the Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Rajasthan. And the third sector is the textile. Textile, again, though it is a volatile sector, and we have seen there are many schemes which have been announced by the governments for the MSME, they are not picked up that way earlier. But now, since last 1-2 years, we have seen that there is a huge demand from the textile sectors. The MSME customers are coming up with the apparels. Apparels has been the highest demand. And again, the states, if we talk, then it is the Delhi and the Maharashtra, where we have seen a huge demand in the textile segment.
Okay. So what I pick up is that the demand which is coming from these top three sectors at your platform is aligning with the disbursement also. So there is no change in that three sectors in the supply side also from your side.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. My next question to you is there any sector or segment where there's a higher rejections while you are approving the applications for loan for them?
Yeah, Tripti, actually, if we talk about the lending to the MSME, the maximum rejection happens when there is a poor quality of the collaterals, or there are not the proper documentation, or not the financial, that formal way of keeping the financial records. So that's the main basic reasons why the loans are being rejected of the most of the MSMEs. And if we talk about the sector, and this is through universal, throughout the sectors, it doesn't depend on which sector it has. But still, if we go by the sector we have seen the highest rejection rates among the our all customers, then they are the construction. The loans demand coming for the construction segment, then the hospitality, and third is again the textile.
Okay.
And you would be wondering that textile, though, is on our topmost performing sector, but still it has the highest rejection. So you can imagine that what kind of volume we are witnessing in this sector.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but due to that volatile nature of the textile segment itself, we have been rejecting also a lot of cases for the dispersal. The construction is again the major reason why we have seen this rejection in construction is that the future works of the construction is related to the real estate, which is itself a very volatile in nature. It is cyclic, and they are affected by the policies, government changes day by day, or the other rules and effects which comes into effect. And the future works is again in the construction segment, they required a verified cases, which is slightly stringent criterion. So this is the main way why we are seeing in the rejections in the construction segment. And in the hospitality, again, it's a seasonal, cyclic in nature. Whenever there is a peak demands and season, then we can see an upsurge in hospitality segment. So, and textile, again, what I have said that due to its the own nature of this segment, we are seeing a rejection. And if I go by the percentage, then in the construction, around 77% of rejection we have seen. In hospitality, around 74%. And in textile, we have seen around 73% of rejection.
Wow. Wonderful. So, this is very important point, because if we can, these three sectors need to work upon a lot.
Yeah. We also don't want that we are not in that just giving loan like this only. We are a data tech company. We have our own growth score, which assess the customers' creditworthiness, how they are able to repay the loan, and on basis of that, we only disperse them. That's why you can see that the sectors which are highly volatile have the highest rejection.
Yes, interesting. So Ritu, my next question to you, as a lender, what are your wish list from the MSMEs to bring change or upgrade in the way they work?
Yeah, Tripti, actually, if we talk about the numbers, then there are around 92 lakhs crores of credit gap, which is in the MSME sector. And the basic reason, the main reason for this is due to their operation in dependency on the informal sector for the borrowing. So, though this has been changing since post COVID, we can see that there is a significant shift from the informal to the formal one, but still there is a huge gap. It needs to be, this will take years and lot of NBFCs like Ugro Capital to fill this gap. So, as a lender, what we can see that what are the main reason for this weak credit facilities of MSMEs include their poor quality of collaterals. Again, the documentation, they are not keeping a proper documentation, lack of formal financial records, and a higher reliance of them on the informal sector for the borrowing. So, and there is a lack of awareness. Financial literacy, what I would say in this MSME sector, which they are not aware about this government schemes. They are not aware of schemes and how they can avail those schemes, offers, which we as an NBFC, we offer, or other type of financial things they can be availed. So as a lender, what Ugro's wish list would be that includes the robust financial record keeping for the MSME, the transparencies, their regular updates, and the business performance. And they should be aware about the repayment behavior, because that affects your credit score, and there's again a major thing which decides whether you are eligible for the loan or not. So you have to be, for the MSMEs has to be aware about how they are repaying the loan. A slight mistake or slight error can affect their credit score. So these are, as a lender basis, these are my wish list.
Got it. So if we leave aside this collateral part, because that is something not an easy to create it, but there are other things, which is record keeping part, financial educations. Those things are still where MSMEs can make their efforts to come up the curve and get a better access to finances of lenders.
Exactly, that's true.
Okay, so Ritu, our last question to you. Is there any geographical area, state, or city performance in your portfolio which has just surprised you based, different parameters, which gives you an how come this city is having, or this is a new entrant or something like that?
Yeah, actually, we have a major presence in the south cities like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Maharashtra, and Telangana. But these cities are, that these cities are always industry, better in terms of industry sectors also, and the better performance also. But what we have surprised to see that despite, instead of these states, Gujarat and Delhi, they have come up really better. They are doing better in the textile sector, in the construction, in your light engineering sector. What are the top performing sector? So in Gujarat, we have seen that the chemical industry has picked up a lot, and the yarn manufacturing, they are doing very well in the yarn manufacturing. In Maharashtra, we have seen construction. You can just see also that in Maharashtra, we have are doing a lot of construction projects. And in Delhi, the apparel, household articles, and machinery, they have really picked up. So these cities, and especially in these sectors, we have seen a drastic change in performance, which have just because South, we can understand that Tamil Nadu, and they are really potentially strong in terms of the industry and sector performance. But definitely Gujarat, Delhi, and Maharashtra, they are doing very well in these sectors which I have named.
Okay, thank you so much. Wonderful. In fact, thank you giving us a ground update of which sectors, which states are pushing ahead, and it definitely motivates our listeners to explore more on those segments and giving the industry insights.
Thank you so much, Ritu, for inviting me and just giving me this opportunity to share Ugro perspective with the MSMEs.
Thank you, Ritu. We'll see you again in some other episode. Lloyd Mathias is a business strategist and investor. He's a marketing expert, having headed marketing for HP Asia, Motorola, and PepsiCo. He is the board of director of several listed companies and is a thought leader on business and policy issues. So today, Lloyd is going to share his insights from the marketing angle for our MSMEs and startup audience, what's happening in the industry and his views on it. So very warm welcome, Lloyd, on MSME Talk.
Thank you, Tripti. Wonderful to be here on MSME Talk.
Thank you. So we'll jump on the first question to you. So as a marketing leader, what is your observation of MSMEs in India compared to those in other countries, since you work as an advisor in India and other countries and collaborate at various level? So what are your observations?
Before I get specifically to the observations, I think I want to state clearly that I think MSMEs are the true backbone of the Indian economy. And I do believe that unfortunately they haven't got the focus and attention that they need. Right? India always focuses in a sense on agriculture just because the farmers are a very important part. But we forget that MSMEs in some sense are a true background or a true backbone of the economy. Just a few numbers. As I understand, we have 6.3 crore MSMEs spread across India, and about 22% of India's workforce is employed by MSMEs that contribute about 33% to our national GDP. Right? So I don't think this percentage, a third of the national GDP and a fifth of the workforce happens anywhere else across the world. So I think it's really, really critical. And I think importantly, also what we forget is that MSMEs contribute 40% of India's industrial output and 40% of our exports, right? So it's a very, very, very huge sector. As far as differences go, I think Indian MSMEs tend to be focused in a very micro environment. A lot of them service markets and regions which are geographically in close proximity. Internationally, a lot of MSMEs look at much larger geographical areas. And I think the only reason that's happened is because adoption of technology and the internet happened much earlier. So MSMEs, though they may be situated in a small part of the country, they look at a much larger geographical zone. In India, the true spread happened, you can say, post Reliance Jio in 2016. So MSMEs are still largely very brick and mortar and looking at a very small market area. They haven't leveraged the power of technology to spread their product and services to a much wider geographical network. And that's the only real difference that I see in India. Because when it comes to business smarts, when it comes to understanding the consumer, I think Indian MSMEs are second to none in the world.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey, MSME Talk listeners, hope you have not missed subscribing to our newsletter for the latest news, blogs, podcast updates. Check the link in the description. We don't spam your inbox, and hence we do have one of the highest rate of newsletter opening in the industry. Interesting. Technology is the differentiator we can see. So, Lloyd, we'll move to the next question, which is current marketing dynamics.
Sure.
Now, considering the dynamic nature of marketing today, things are changing so fast, and specifically as you picked up, the technology is one of the contributor and pusher for that. What strategy or tools are currently yielding good results for small to medium segment businesses in both when they are working in B2B or in B2C context?
That's a great question, Tripti. I think the one big change that has happened in the last 5 years is that the spread of the internet in India has made selling and marketing far more democratic. And when I say democratic, I think earlier, say about a decade or two ago, it was very clear that large organizations that had big budgets were able to actually get their message, get their product and services across much easier. Because A, they had big budgets, they could buy television spots, they could buy print advertisements, they could buy radio, cinema, and they could spread themselves very well. Today, the internet has made access to information far more democratic, right? Today, a person sitting in a small town who has got some access to the internet can also search and buy products from around the world, right? So, internet access and the spread of digital technology specifically in India, given that we have, climbed a lot in terms of digital public infrastructure. If you look at just the sheer amount of bank accounts, financial inclusion, the fact that you can buy a 10 rupee item from the road using your mobile phone through UPI, I think that has made a significant difference. So when it comes to a small or an MSME, I would say today the world of technology has opened up a lot of opportunities, and the smallest business can compete with among the largest businesses very often with a lot more efficiency than the large organization. The reason I say so is very simple. I think today a lot of people spend a bulk of their time on a digital medium, right? Be it your cell phone, be it your tablet, be it whatever. And therefore, a lot of messages, sales messages, marketing messages can be done through that. If you take the typical buying relationship that a homemaker in India has with the local grocery shop, the local Kirana shop, I think a lot of the transactions virtually happen through WhatsApp, right? You send a message, you want something, he sends a delivery boy, you make the payment online or through a UPI. He comes with a scan code, or you know his number, you transfer the money. So I think when it comes to tools, I think MSMEs should look actively at digital. A lot of them have to spend some time understanding a medium until you get deeper into a medium, whether it is WhatsApp, whether it is some kind of social media, whether it's simple SMS related marketing, whether it is collecting the email IDs of your customers and reaching out to them through some occasional messages saying that, hey, we have a special offer, here's a special discount on certain products. I think the ability to reach out to consumers both in a D2C or even into a B2B, right? Therefore, I think, for example, today MSMEs have to recognize that they have to build a very basic level of a customer relationship management approach, right? You don't have to have large tools. It helps understanding technology, but keeping a track of your customer, looking at potential customers in the same space, reaching out to them through social media or through low cost digital technologies actually makes it much easier. With simple tools like Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics, today almost any business can spread its reach much wider, right? When it comes to B2B, using tools like LinkedIn or very basic sales related software to build a customer relationship management approach, I think is helpful tremendously. But the important part is to understand, to dive a little deeper into that particular medium and then use it in a manner that is relevant to your business. I think that's the important part. The big message I want to leave is that it no longer takes big advertising budgets to reach your customer. Technology and the internet have made things more democratic. Today, at a very, very small spend, you can hope to increase your reach, right? Putting some money in Google search, putting some basic amount of money in some social media like Facebook or Instagram, you can reach to much wider audience. If you're a B2B company, you can make the effort to gather database of your customers, get their email IDs, reach out to them to some form of email marketing, send them an occasional invitation to a small meetup or go across to meet them one on one. I think using a lot of technology led marketing tools reduces cost, reduces physical interface, but also becomes very effective and is easy to measure. So you can really measure the impact of each of your digital mediums, right? Which is what we often call performance marketing. So I think the opportunity today for an MSME to increase his business, to grow his business, thanks to technology and internet, is much, much better than it was, let's say, even 5 or 10 years ago.
So what I'm picking up is completely a shift from physical to
Absolutely.
digital. Okay. And absolutely making ensuring that you've picked a very important part where you mentioned the CRM and ensuring there's a collection of data. There's no leakages on the past track records of your connects, and you have very awesome tools available nowadays to ensure that your continuity of marketing happens, and there's no completely vacuum between you and the customers who have at once
Absolutely.
approached you.
Absolutely. And a good business person, as you know, Tripti, is someone who keeps his customer in his mind always and has a continuous relationship. It's not a one-off exercise of selling a product or service and then disappearing, because the best business that you get is actually selling more to the same customer and having a much longer relationship. So maintaining a customer is much, much more efficient than going out to try to get new customers. And thanks to technology, that becomes so easy to do.
Absolutely, absolutely well said. Technology is supporting you in your journey of creating and maintaining your relationships with your customers. So, Lloyd, we'll go to the next and the last question with you is traditional marketing tools, what happened to them despite the rapid revolution in marketing techniques, technologies being everywhere. What is one traditional marketing tool or method that you find still remains successful?
I think in the traditional marketing sense, if you look at the mega tools, they were typically television, they were print, and a lot of them, print as in buying ads in newspapers, in magazines, or cinema advertising. I think a lot of them were involved a large spend, which typically a lot of MSMEs cannot afford. But when it comes to the one traditional tool, I think it is really about maintaining a deep relationship with the customer. So I have this little principle that I tell a lot of the smaller business I work with, is that you have to have a customer logbook where you record a lot of your transactions. Now this logbook may not be physical, it could be an Excel sheet, but you have the name of the customer, the period on which you've been serving him, what are the kind of monthly, annual business that you do with them, what are the kind of services that you offer. So you have to have a ready reckoner and make sure you're looking or visiting that customer data sheet on a regular basis, right? What new can you offer that customer? In what way have you helped him with improving his business? So until you look, when it comes to a B2B, in terms of how you can improve your customer's business, if it comes to a B2C, how do you make a consumer's life easier, and you build a kind of history with that, I think that is the best help. So in a sense, it's a traditional tool, but it really is about going deeper with your customer, using his help and support to ensure that the word of mouth gets passed around, so you get your next set of customer. So I would think that maintaining a deep customer relationship is an old fashioned tool, but today, thanks to technology, it is much easier to do, to call someone, to send him a WhatsApp message, to to kind of send him a small reminder, say a birthday greeting, a special festive greeting, a special offer, is much more easier to do, right? You don't have to anymore go out, buy a physical card, write out cards, go to the post office. I think all that has become seamless. But I think maintaining deeper relationships using slightly more modern tools like telecommunications, I think makes the process much easier. The second thing I would say, and in a sense it's a traditional tool, is the old fashioned use of basic promotional material like a flyer, a simple pamphlet, having a product document that you can have both in soft form and in hard form. When you visit the customer, you can always carry a hard copy, make a couple of notings, leave it back with him, it serves as a physical reminder. You can also do a follow up by scanning that and sending it on a WhatsApp message. So I think using basic reminders to your organization that this is what your product, what you stand for, I think is critical. How deep you keep your relationship. And the last point that I say is always the cornerstone, whether it's a Fortune 500 company, whether it's a small single owner driven company, I think is being fair to your customer and keeping your word. So jaban dena hai. So the moment you give your customer your word, make sure you honor it, whether it's in terms of the product, service, delivery time. I think those things are critical, and people remember that for a long time. And that's what they use as an endorsement and talk to their friends. That's what builds word of mouth. So I think keeping the customer center of your universe, making sure you service him at all times, keeping a good track record of the service, I think are the three fundamental tools that remain consistent, big or small, old or new. I think that always works.
Thank you so much, Lloyd, for wonderful wisdom in a short span of time and episode. We are really lucky, and our audience definitely will appreciate that we got an opportunity to have an interaction and pick up your wisdom of so many decades, worked with multinational and various sizes of startups as an advisor. Thank you so much for coming on MSME
Thank you,
Talks.
Tripti. Wonderful being here, and catch you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Kinara Capital is a fintech NBFC providing fast and flexible collateral free business loans in India. We have today with us CEO of Kinara Capital, Hardika Shah, providing insights on occasion of MSME Day. So, Hardika, please tell us what are the topmost segments or sectors on your platform from the demand perspective, that is, the loan application received by Kinara, and supply perspective, that is, the loan dispersed by Kinara.
So Kinara Capital services manufacturing, trading, and the services industry. And we give unsecured business loans to small business entrepreneurs in these different business lines. Now, as you've seen the narrative from our finance ministry, MSMEs are really important. And there's been a lot of investment in CapEx and infrastructure from the government side. We are seeing that is finally trickling down to the private sector side. And this year, we are seeing increasing demand from the private sector for investment in CapEx, which means in manufacturing, especially our manufacturing small business owners are now backed out of the various macro events that have happened and are thinking about their growth, their expansion, and upgradation of their machinery to a more efficient machine, a more green machine, or just adding more machinery as they increase production. And that's a demand area that has been pretty subdued for some years, but is definitely seeing a nice return to normalcy.
Okay, so my next question to you, Hardika, is in which segment or sector there is higher rejection in approvals, and what are the typical reasons for these rejections?
Well, our entire credit underwriting model is a blended tech model. What that means is that we have branches in various states, and our field officers meet the customer, collect their KYC, their business information, their financial information, and all of that gets fed into our credit underwriting model. Now, the beauty of our model is that it is devoid of bias, in that the file from any one location or any one sector or segment behaves the same way in terms of input parameters. The model does definitely take a calibrated approach based on our appetite of risk, of where we would like to offer a loan or where that loan is at a particular interest rate. So from a perspective of rejection in a particular sector or segment, there isn't that from a blanket perspective.
Okay, got it. Yes. So, Hardika, as a lender, what are your wish lists from MSMEs to bring change and upgrade in their way of working? As Kinara deals with a lot of unorganized MSMEs, since you are into the unsecured or collateral-free business loans in India. So, what are your wish list which would like to, suggest to MSMEs to bring change?
Well, India is moving towards becoming the world's fourth largest economy by 2025, and certainly third largest in a few more years down from there. And MSMEs contribute 30% of our national GDP. So it is absolutely important for MSMEs to invest in two areas. One is digitization. There is a lot of initiative from our government and also at various levels to bring MSMEs up the curve of digitization. Some of it is happening organically, just because we have proliferation of smartphones and access to free data and access to government services. So we are seeing that, but some of it requires a thoughtful approach by the MSMEs to figure out what they need to do internal to their business and help them move up to the digitization curve, because digitization will open up access for MSMEs to new markets, to new partnerships, and to new supply chains. And this is an important element of their growth, which is also an important element for growth of the national economy. The second area that I feel that MSMEs can really work on is more formalization. So digitization allows them to track and manage, but formalization will put them on the map for recognition and for access to various government programs or even financial services for that matter. And that formalization becomes an important element of a small business as they want to move from a micro business to being a small business. So those two areas would be areas that I would love to see MSMEs strengthen their focus over the next few years.
Is there any geographical area, state, or city performances which has just surprised you based on your portfolio and the clientele you're coming to you and the area in which Kinara is operating?
Well, we operate in 6 major states at this point. What is interesting is that while we've been in an operation across these states for numerous years, our focus has always been very urban and metro. But what we are now definitely seeing is this access of capital requirement is increasing in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And I see that as a need from various angles. One, we see that there's a huge boom of activity in real estate, in services in tier 2, tier 3 cities. Tier 2, tier 3 cities have lesser access to traditional financial services compared to major metros. And so when we look at this rapid urbanization, this increase of average household income in tier 2, tier 3, the opportunity for both entrepreneurial activity and also for access to finance is increasing in these areas. Now, what does that mean for us? I mean, to give you an example, in Visakhapatnam, for example, that was our third highest disbursement city last year. And Coimbatore is another area where we see a lot of progress, a lot of demand for our services. So these are just examples, but largely the need for capital is increasing in tier 2, tier 3, and we are seeing that as fast emerging as a next area of focus for every financial services institution, not just us, to provide the right service, the right product for the right need in these cities.
Thank you, Hardika. EMotorad is a growing electric vehicle company specializing in electric cycles. You might have recently seen Mahendra Singh Dhoni riding e-cycles of EMotorad. Yes, EMotorad is from India. Sumedh Battewar is a co-founder and chief business officer of EMotorad, looking after the offline operations. And today we have Sumedh with us to share some interesting insights from his business. A very warm welcome, Sumedh, to MSME Talk podcast, especially which is created for MSME Day.
Thanks, Ritu, for having me here. Looking forward to having this wonderful conversation ahead.
So, Sumedh, which are the 3 topmost tier 2 cities from which your e-bike demand is coming?
So, top 3 tier 2 cities, if I had to name, I can say Cochin, Ahmedabad, and Coimbatore. 4th could be Indore, but rest the business, if you see, there is not much of a deviation. Almost the tier 2 contribution to the business is beyond 34 to 35% as of now. And surprisingly, tier 3 is also almost 20 to 25% business. So I can tell you one interesting stat of around 64 to 66% of my business is non-tier or non-tier 1 city.
Oh, yes, exactly. Tier 2 and tier 3 is giving you above 50%.
60%.
That's 60%, yes, above 60%. That's interesting. And Coimbatore and Kochi are the top 2 among top 3 cities. That is very interesting number, data point you are giving us.
Yeah.
So, Sumedh, while you are one of the largest exporter of e-bikes from India and setting up largest gigafactory of e-bikes, in your business ecosystem, what domestic and export opportunities are you witnessing for micro, small, medium enterprise, or we call it as small businesses, to grow, to create more businesses surrounding your business, your factory, your ecosystem? Please share your inputs.
Amazing question, Ritu. Just imagine, how does a manufacturing hub like China is working at the moment? If you see, so there are a lot of system integrators wherein they are taking the components from the small industries which are operating out of China and they are exporting. So if you consider electric mobility as a segment, in that particular domain as well, electric cycle as a business, approximately 110 components are used today. And just imagine the kind of opportunities ahead of us. Even if you're getting into the business of electric cycle as a complete technology business, there is enough and more business outside. So forget micro, small and medium enterprises. You can even start direct export opportunities at the component level as well. If I say so, the component you can consider as an accessories, probably helmet, gloves, then accessories like lock for a bicycle, pump with a good quality which you can export. That is on the allied industries. If you're asking for a tier 2, tier 3 of electric cycle business, there are a lot of things to be done with respect to SMT facilities, with respect to packaging. When I say packaging, it is about the carton box packaging with export quality which is required for electric cycle, with export quality for the international market with different countries where the certifications are different. Then you can do packaging for a lot of accessories, because an accessory manufacturer will manufacture that particular SKU. He will also require packaging. So you can master into packaging of multiple industries. If you see, the current cycle market of the country is focused towards domestic consumption. And when they focus towards domestic consumption, it is a irregulated, high price conscious market in which you have to only control your operating cost, in which quality compromise is fine, because life of that particular cycle in use is very less. That's where a lot of people see that cycle lying around the areas in common parking areas. So what happens is these component manufacturers have not taken the standards to the global, and their components, even though used in the local manufacturing, probably I can give you example as a rim where the spokes are mounted and a tire is fitted, or probably a bottom bracket where your pedals are fitted, your crank is fitted. So like these small components also has a tremendous opportunity if you are starting with a mindset of exports. So like this, I can name a lot of industries which are allied to electric cycle.
Got it. So, Sumedh, what about the service opportunity? These are looks like all these are, lot of opportunity we have for the manufacturing. Any service opportunities which you see surrounding your ecosystem?
I'll tell you how many motorcycles we sell in the country is approximately 23 million. In I can tell you it's 2.3 crores. In crores, it's 2.3 million. It is 23 million around. And you just see an opportunity what it has been created for servicing these motorbikes. At least every nooks and corner of the country, you will see a mechanic who is doing a regular maintenance or breakdown maintenance or preventive maintenance for your two-wheeler, your specifically two-wheeler. A two-wheeler guy will not do three-wheeler or four-wheeler. You must see this, right? Now, how many cycles are sold in the country? The cycles sold in the country are 30 million, the 3 crore cycles. The problem is these cycles are never utilized beyond a point. That's why the service infrastructure was not required. But imagine now when these cycles are getting upgraded to electric cycle, the riding distances are above 500 kilometers a month. Now these will require the preventive and breakdown maintenance both.
Interesting. So there is another service sectors of which already existing age-old nukkad wala, cycle service hai, but now more has to be required because when e-bike is becoming a
And it is not a
fashion.
rocket science to learn. If he is able to manage a ICE engine vehicle in which oil is there, engine is there, clutch brake plate is there, in electric cycle, the maintenance is very easy. So that upskilling can be done and additional revenue can be achieved. Number two, I'll tell you is lithium ion batteries. I'm not saying to manufacture them, but just imagine the recycling opportunity. Everyone is focusing on selling a new vehicle. Who is there? Very limited people who are in the business of recycling. For example, the 20 million normal ICE engine vehicle, which is a petrol vehicle, consider 15 to 20% of the share will go to E. And just understand amount of batteries will come towards recycling. So it's a great business every OEM has to tie up with. So it's a great business getting into the business of recycling. If it is again a service where the capex investments are not also huge. Put some engineering, put some brains, take some available literature out in the market and start building the business.
Good. So Sumit, where is your gigafactory coming? Which city?
So it's coming in Pune, automobile
Okay,
manufacturing
so you are making Pune more stronger
more
in
stronger.
the same. Okay, understood. So now my next question comes to you related to this, Sumedh. Which cities in India you are expecting highest growth led by EV businesses coming up?
Consumer, you're talking about, or you're talking about manufacturing?
No, I'm talking about manufacturing, like which all cities where uh, business houses are going and setting up EV businesses because that's where the ecosystem is getting created. the way you are creating in Pune. Additional, Pune already is a belt of manufacturing of vehicles, so you are adding on through e-bikes. Is there any other cities in India we are seeing where it is about, for example, EV related, which is happening?
So, if you see, a lot of states are willing to attract the manufacturers, to be honest, because they want to be, they don't want to be left out. If there is an EV revolution happens in the country, they don't want to be left out. I have heard in Pune also they are trying to put an MIDC specifically for electric vehicles because Maharashtra being the top GDP contributor in the country, they don't want to leave away the automobile segment. So Pune is definitely there. Apart from this, if you see, a lot of electric scooter manufacturers have established their bases in Tamil Nadu, southern part of the country. One criticality index, if you see, at least I always wanted to be the global player. So for me, the port is very clear, very important or critical. I have to be near to the port. So I chose my port to be Navashiva. So I'm near Pune, which is 100 kilometers away. So similarly, southern part of the country, they have the port advantage of Chennai. So they are near there. So if anyone is trying to spot an opportunity, I can give you one simple, what you say, hack. Be present near port because EV players
Ports.
will require lithium ion to be imported at least for next 5-7 years minimum. So
Okay, interesting. Very nice. So now let's go to the next question, which for us, your startup has grown very fast, Sumit. I mean, we didn't even realize when you came and you have become big, so big, and decent name to know, and one of the biggest exporter also. I'm sure you must have faced certain challenges while making this faster, and you all co-founders would have done jugaad in Indian term, which we call it. So we want to know what are the challenges you have faced while expanding your businesses and what solutions, worked well for you.
so all the department, if you see, there are major 5 departments in any organization. You have product, you have manufacturing, you have operations, you have sales, you have finance. Okay, marketing again is a subset of sales, or sales is a subset of marketing. So I'm clubbing those two. In all the department, we faced challenges when we started growing. Of course, you need right capital to support the working capital for any manufacturing-led businesses because it's not a service infrastructure. I put one capex and the regular running costs are in control, and I am starting adding up the revenues. Manufacturing and product-led businesses are working capital driven, so you need right partners to fund you at right percentage of interest. You coming from that background will understand better.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Then availability of talent is also very much important because electric vehicle is a new segment and there are no much experienced people available in the domain to do after sales service, do right sales channels for the country, doing the right set of trainings. And that mindset also needs to be open to learn new things and implement new things. So getting the top leadership is also a very tough job. So I guess all the department has undergone that massive restructuring. Even the sales channel like e-com, I can tell you, in e-commerce the large and appliances categories are very small. Today what you order on an Amazon or Flipkart, mostly your fashion apparel, electronic, which are not heavy and bulk category. Electric cycle specifically comes in heavy and bulk category where I have to schedule a shipment to you. Then it requires certain kind of knowledge to assemble a particular bike and then use it. So the channels were also not set, like who will do the shipment, whether the shipment will have in transit damage or not. You imagine you're ordering a 30-35K bike and it has a minor scratch. You will not like it. You will say, "Boss, I need a neat and clean paint on the bike." So solving these particular things, because for the minor damage, which is like a fix of 30-40 rupee in a touch-up shop, I have to manage the entire reverse supply chain for that particular order which I have shipped online. So each and every department went through the tremendous test of time. And I believe solving it, we had multiple approaches, but one kind of an evident approach I can tell you is hiring the right leadership. I guess a lot of problems get solved there. And the second thing, which is a subset of it, hiring the right leadership also has not resulted in or not giving the right yield for a lot of companies. So I believe it is always in parallel or always goes hand in hand, a right leadership and a right work culture. These two things are the deadliest combination. No competition can beat a team which is high on motivation, working in a right environment to do some tremendous job out there. So such kind of teams are unbeatable. Only you have to kill such kind of teams in the market. Otherwise, these are unstoppable market forces. That is what I have understood. So each team member, if you see, each leader, if you see, they are available for us 24/7. They are motivated to deliver that particular result. They are working for a cause, boss. We are here to create that particular impact. So short success stories are not celebrated. Pauses are taken in right particular point of time. So I personally feel among all the problems what we have solved, a lot of approaches for sure. But one, if I have to tell you, is definitely hiring the right leadership and giving the right work culture at the company to deliver extraordinary result.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sumedh. We have actually, given the right direction to our listeners because, in the MSMEs and other, clients, when we hear, people feel capital के बिना कुछ नहीं हो सकता. But what I heard from you right now, you said capital was a challenge because you are into manufacturing. Without working capital, it's difficult to grow. But the solution which you said worked well was the leadership and the right people hiring because then they keep on working and bringing the right solution because problems and challenges will keep coming in. But are there right people in place to face those challenges and take it ahead?
Exactly.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you, Sumedh, for joining us. We'll see you around again in some other episode. Wish you a very, very big success on behalf of entire India because you are going to support a lot of MSMEs through your business.
Thank you so much, Tripti, for having me here. And I hope this small talk will deliver good value to the listeners.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Moglix is an Indian e-commerce company in industrial supplies and operates in India, US, UK, and Europe. Partha Das is a managing director, new businesses and growth at Moglix. A very warm welcome, Partha, to MSME Talk podcast to share insights on the occasion of MSME Day.
Thank you, Tripti. Pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me here.
Wonderful. So, Partha, we'll start with the first question, which is related to Moglix and how it is, contributing into other countries. So, since Moglix operates in different countries, primarily catering to MSMEs, SMEs, or so-called SMBs in different countries, we want to hear insights on the differences you have seen in these markets in respect of top categories and the marketing channels. So, hence, my first question in that respect to you is which are the top three product categories highest in demand on your website in India, US, Europe, or UK?
Okay, thanks, Tripti. And this is a very pertinent question, I must say. As you rightly said in the beginning, all these markets are similar in some respects and dissimilar in some other respects. However, if you look at Moglix platform, the demands for top three categories actually in some of the cases remain the very, very same, and in some of the markets it actually changes. I'll give an example. In India market, the top three categories that we get to see is, let's say, safety as a category, electrical as a category, fasteners as a category. But in the same MSMEs or the SMB category, if I go to, let's say, Middle East, the one or two categories remain the same, but the third category changes. So, for example, in Middle East, the top three categories would be, let's say, hardware and hand tools, followed by, let's say, high engineering products, which is into oil and gas sectors. And the last one comes to be the safety category, right? So it's similar in some of these cases and dissimilar in some of these cases. And this predominantly stems from the fact which are the major, let's say, industries these economies are getting actually driven by. So hence the difference.
Okay, got it. Any other categories from US or UK market you can share? Which is
we are present in US as well in Mexico. In US market, the categories that we get to see is, electrical as a category, solar as a category is pretty strong in those markets. There are other categories which are related to, let's say, packaging verticals. We get to see a lot of these items, which are paper-based packaging items. We get to see a lot of traction on those categories also in US and Mexico.
And in moving into, similar kind of country level, differences, I would like to understand the categories of products on your website are of various industries.
Yep.
And as we already know, you are operating in different countries. Which are top 3 marketing channels which has helped Moglix to reach the relevant businesses to make them aware about Moglix services and presence? Because it could be different for different countries.
Right. So we predominantly focus on the performance marketing, Tripti. So what I mean by performance marketing, if you look at the channel like, let's say, Google Shopping, we look at remarketing channels. We also look at affiliates. So we count too much on the affiliates channel also. So basically, remarketing, Google Shopping, as well as affiliates channel. These are the 3 dominant, I would say, marketing platforms for us. Other than that, the usual suspects like Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., those go hand in hand. But I would predominantly say the top 3 would be Google Shopping, remarketing, as well as affiliates channel.
Okay, and these 3 mix and match, or that way only is working in all the countries. It's not like one particular is working heavily in one country and not in other.
Yeah, so depending on what is our anchor, let's say, business, if you look at Middle East and US, those would be Middle East and India, those would be pretty similar. But if you look at US and Mexico, obviously our anchor business proposition is different than what we are doing in India, right? So there, the mix or the skew is slightly different towards, let's say, affiliates channel much more.
Okay, and India and Middle East, Google Shopping is
Google
more.
Shopping as well as remarketing is pretty dominant.
Okay, got it. So next question which I want to know, Partha, is what are the top 3 tier 2 and tier 3 cities in India from which business is coming to you or to your site, basically?
Okay, so if you talk about Moglix.com, we obviously the tier 1 cities are well known, and the mix typically varies from category to category and obviously industry to industry. But if you look at top tier 2 or tier 3 cities, these would be let's say Jaipur, Patna, Bhubaneswar, then northeast cities like Imphal. All these cities are actually the tier 2, tier 3 cities where people reach out and probably land on our platform. And their demands and searches, if you see, they spread across all categories for that matter.
Okay, and these are the top most tier 2, tier 3 cities from which your businesses is coming in.
Patna, Jaipur, Lucknow, Bhubaneswar, all these top 2.
Got it. Anything from the south?
South would be, again, Coimbatore, Madurai. These are the places. And northeast is something we are gradually getting to see a lot of traction, because obviously there are a lot of activities from the government side. Also, a lot of economic activities are there now in northeast as well as Jammu and Kashmir. We are gradually getting to see a lot of traction from Jammu and Kashmir also.
Okay, and maybe because the distribution channel is also improving gradually.
Yes, as the economic activities continue to happen, you will see the demand actually percolates down to all strata and segments of the industries. And the moment the large ones get the business, they offload it to the next level. The next level gets the business, and they offload it to the MSME segment. And it's a cascading effect, right? So we get to see a lot of traction there.
Okay, interesting. Next, I would like to understand from you, how's the business growth this year vis-a-vis last year? So in this specifically, I also want to understand, are you seeing increase in CAPEX related product demands?
Yeah, so basically, if you're saying this year means you're basically saying FY24 versus 23?
No, I'm asking 24-25. So last 2-3 months, which we have seen, we are mid of June.
Okay.
How we are seeing currently in last, so FY 24-25, we have already entered vis-a-vis last year.
Okay, so this year, if I have to tell you, initially for the second quarter, which is April, May, June, because of obvious reasons. Because we are there in the B2B segment. We are predominantly working with, let's say, manufacturing companies. We work with EPC companies. And for obvious reasons, due to the elections, there were a lot of uncertainty, I would say, if not uncertainty, for the lack of a better word, I would say wait and watch kind of thing. People were just holding on to the decision making. Obviously, that was a bit of a dampener. But now, in the last, let's say, I would say, last 15 days or so, you would see a lot of activities have again started to happen. First 3 months, which is January, February, March, we have seen it was a decent beginning to the year. But subsequently, April, May, June was a bit of a lull. And now we are again getting to see a lot of demand. Coming back to the question on the CAPEX front, we understand that there are a lot of activities and a lot of planning which is there in the pipeline. But in terms of kicking off those projects, this is just starting to happen. People were just kind of holding on to those decisions for some times. Now it is time for them to get started with those projects. So we are hoping that those demands are going to revive.
Okay, so we are still not seeing that inflection on the demand side on the website, but we are hoping that it might start in a couple of months.
Yes, I mean June beginning has been decently promising, and we believe that the momentum is going to pick up from now.
Got it. And Partha, how the performance? Let me ask you, growth. Business growth. Since you were, checking on the year FY24 growth versus FY23.
Okay. Yeah, this is very interesting. See, given that we still call ourselves a startup, our growths are typically in excess. We don't talk about 10%, 20% kind of growth. We talk about, let's say, 100%, 200%, 300% kind of growth. So that way, last year was, I would say, relatively okayish, if not bad. We grew by a decent double-digit percentage growth. And that was also because of two reasons. We wanted to make sure that all the businesses that we are getting into, we are getting the product market fit right. We also tried to make sure that whatever guardrails and whatever, let's say, boundary conditions that we have identified for ourselves, we are operating within that. So, in a nutshell, our performance has been, relatively speaking, better compared to what we had anticipated for. From an SME standpoint, we are far better than most of these companies, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Because you are a startup, you're a tech startup, you're supported by the tech.
Yeah.
So your growth will be a little different. But yes, checking on this key, is it really, global growth impacting?
Yeah, so there are multiple macros getting played out. We started the year with a bit of, let's say, Ukraine and Ukraine crisis, which obviously took the commodity prices through the roof, right? Subsequently, if you see the crisis that happened with, Israel and Palestine, and that also brought a lot of uncertainty to the Middle East market, right? So people are a little cautious in terms of taking aggressive positions on multiple fronts. And there, the domestic market plays a significantly important role. How captive is the demand? Because we are a multi-country, multi-geography player. Obviously, we are not insulated from the global, dynamics which is getting played out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, Partha, any new challenges surfacing? Anything new which you guys have started witnessing?
Yeah, so one of the constant challenge, if I have to tell you, Tripti, would be, we are in a space which is not a very flamboyant space, unlike many of the consumer, spaces where you get to see the instant gratification. You run a marketing campaign and you see the impact immediately. We are into a B2B space, right? So typically the biggest challenge, if I have to tell you, is getting the right kind of talent coming through, because this is a constant challenge for us. And that's the most pressing, grappling issue, if I have to tell you. We are running short of hands.
Partha, what can I say for this question? Believe me, 8 out of 10 senior management I meet and I have a discussion, they have this common challenge in current market.
Yeah.
And surrounding this similar.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, so it has become definitely, and I agree. So, Partha, is there any interesting insight while you're running Moglix business, like any product or category demand, or any city, or any customer behavior, or any trend which has just surprised you? And you guys, meet and discuss, what this happened. Did you expected this? Something interesting.
I mean, if I have to talk about Moglix and the domain that we are operating in, we are pretty surprised with the way the new gen companies are actually bringing disruptions, or I would say the way they are shaping the business. 5 years back, or let's say 3 years back, the naysayers in the business, they have also kind of were surprised looking at the way B2B commerce business is getting actually shaped up in the country. People were initially a little cynical in terms of what can these newbies can bring to the table, but of late, if you see, a lot of businesses are actually dependent on the new gen startups, so to say. And there is a fundamental shift which is happening in large enterprise customers, where they're realizing that there is a definite value which is there on the table. Having said that, India as a market is still adapting to that challenge, because if you look at India, labor cost is pretty low in the pecking order, right? So for any value that you bring to the table, paying a premium for the market has been a challenge, right? You ask for a premium for a service, India doesn't pay that. Of late, we are realizing there is a willingness as well as there is a propensity to pay for those kind of services. So we are pretty bullish that in the next, let's say, 5 years, 10 years down the line, India is actually moving up that service economy front. We have been exporting services like, ITES kind of services, but India itself is going to be one of the service consumer of services.
So, Partha, this you're telling it in a global perspective, but anything from the Moglix platform, any interesting insights?
Yeah, so it's pretty actually related to what we are doing, because when we take our products and services to large customers, sometimes they don't value. I mean, on the face of it, they don't say that it is valuable, but they're getting hooked on to these services as we go along.
They're ready to pay
Yes.
the premium.
Yes.
They're ready to pay the premium.
So this is pretty close to our business. It is happening in India, and that's what I was actually.
Okay, but this premium, are you ready to get? So your consumers and the clients are ready to pay. Indian clients also you're mentioning, or you're
Yes.
saying international clients also?
It's actually international clients were always ready to pay, right?
Yeah, but they also negotiate that the product is coming from India. So let's negotiate a bit.
Yeah. So I think, see, the international customers, if you talk about, even if they're international, but they're present local, right? So they have the team which is there based out of India, and they have the team which is managed by Indian folks. So negotiation is pretty much delegated to the people on the ground. So they were doing their job. But I was referring to the Indian customers who are by DNA the Indian customers, and that's where I believe that there has been a very, very incremental, but that change is palpable.
Shift is happening in the mental mindset that yes, it's for the convenience, let's pay more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what India 1, India 2, India 3, which is getting great.
Absolutely.
Okay, got it. So wonderful. Thanks a lot, Partha, for joining us for the quick insights from Moglix platform, what's happening. And we wish you all the best on the occasion of MSME Day. Keep supporting the ecosystem and let India shine and the world shine through MSMEs.
Thank you very much, Tripti. Pleasure is all mine, and we hope to connect again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. We will bring something different next time. Hey, if you like the information shared on the podcast, why don't you give some good reviews to us on Apple or Spotify? Through this episode, I hope you would have got some answers to your queries and guidance for way forward. Do share your learnings from the episode, your feedbacks and suggestions. If you are an entrepreneur and have questions from experts or any particular topic or profile of expert you want to hear, or if you are an industry expert with MSME as a target audience, do reach out to us. Our link is given in description. And at last, please do subscribe for MSME Talk podcast and don't forget to share the podcast link with your friends, family, and network. Take care. Goodbye.
Happy to share MSME Talk podcast enters peak ranking chart of 10th country in the Apple Podcast country level entrepreneurship category. If you are an expert or provide product or services to small businesses, MSMEs and startups, reach out to us to discuss showcase opportunity in MSME Talk. Contact details given in description.